There are a lot of people who saw the uprisings and revolts and saw the people take to the street last week. That was, in addition to President Trump really putting out very, very clear messaging through social media about the fact that he wanted people to continue to take to the streets. He wanted people to continue to make their voices heard. And that came with an assurance that help was on the way. The president may have missed his moment, that the momentum has died down as the protests have died down.
Going back to really the 12-day war and why was this uprising different? This is, but at a scale that we probably haven't seen in the last 48 years, really, and you have to answer why. I definitely attribute that to Israel's success during the 12-day war of not only the reduction of IRGC commanders, over 20 plus commanders they hit, of course, but also the regime's arms. Really going back to the 12-day war, it's really significant, I think, in what we've seen, but fine. And the president, though, saying that has to stop or else. President Trump speaks in very declarative, unique way to probably any U.S. president in history. But I do understand the idea of help is on the way. But when we start to do this really geopolitical analysis, but also closed door, what people are going to know in the open source versus what's going on behind closed doors. And there was this even conversation that Israel requested that the United States not do a strike, which you do have to go back to the 12-day war and look at what was in position for Israel to defend itself against the ballistic missiles, the drones, and everything was a lot of just so much preparation. And there were still 38 ballistic missiles that made it through Israel. And we have to be careful that the people who say the United States has done nothing, because there's always covert things that's going on that we don't even know. But there was a clear limitation on what the U.S. was going to be able to do, not only in kinetic direct action if that decision was made. So the fact that there was no aircraft carrier in the Middle East really to be able to support or even help defend U.S. bases in the Middle East, let alone Israel, was a significant limitation to the United States' ability to do what? Everybody wants to see, direct strikes against the regime. For me, I think why we haven't seen, where you said you would help, there's a lot of behind the scenes things we're not seeing. But as a military, why aren't you doing something? Is to have offensive and defensive capabilities in the region beyond what's already there. I think that was a really important moment, and there are still protests going on. There's still, of course, a blackout that the Islamic regime is trying to impose on Iran. But also for us, having the carrier strike group in the region is critical for even U.S. interests, but also I think Israel interest in being able to make, deterrence is about having the ability to have the political will to do something, but also have the actual capability to do something.